It's going to be a full house tomorrow, so I'm really very excited to see atmosphere.
Time in 20 minutes. So, Stadium, a WTA 1000 arena built to showcase the world number one, was drowning in a chant no Toronto crowd had ever produced for a player ranked outside the top 10. 10,000 voices, one name, Alexandra Eala. The scoreboard said second round. The atmosphere said something the tournament directors had already admitted out loud. And what Aryna Sabalenka's camp is now, according to circulating reports, bracing to answer for. 72 hours before that Toronto Roar, Eala had walked off court in Washington as the first Filipino to ever lift a WTA singles trophy, a 466,460 dismantling of world number 3 Jessica Pegula.
It's always a pleasure to share the court with you. I definitely learned so much.
She flew to Canada with a title in her bag and a country on her shoulders. The National Bank Open had already published its own preview, and the headline told you everything about what was coming. The calm before Eala mania hits Toronto. When the tournament itself is branding your fandom as a weather system, the storm has already made landfall. And that storm broke inside the ticket office before it ever broke on the court. Eala's opening session sold out in roughly 30 minutes. Over 5,000 tickets gone.
Never expected not to have any tickets for a ground pass, which I always do.
The 2,800-seat grandstand, where she was originally scheduled, could not physically hold what was coming. So, tournament organizers made a decision that quietly rearranged the hierarchy of the entire event. They moved her to center court, Sabalenka's center court, the same floor the world number one had opened her own campaign on 24 hours early against qualifier Moka Uchima in a day session that per NBA and WTA reporting was not a sellout. Sources suggest reporters have already begun angling questions towards Sabalenka's camp about the optics. And fans across Filipino tennis groups are pointing to one number the world number one has not addressed. Zero. Zero words so far from the sport's most emotionally expressive top player about the phenomenon consuming her tournament. Start with a number that started it all. 30 minutes, 5,000 tickets. That is not fan math. That is a tournament director on the record on TSN on August 4th. Carl Hale did not stumble into that admission. He volunteered it. When the man running one of the most prestigious WTA 1000 events in the world publicly credits a number 25 seed for moving the merchandise, he is not paying a compliment. He is announcing a pivot. The physical proof followed within hours. The grandstand's 2,800 seats were replaced by SWA Stadium's near 12,000, a stage engineered for the marquee names of the sport. It was handed midweek to a 21-year-old from Quezon City. Sabalenka's court, Sabalenka's spotlight reassigned. Then came Wednesday night, Eala versus Alicia Parks. The umpire's microphone became the second most used piece of equipment on court after the rackets. Sportsnet's post-match coverage confirmed it. Reddit's Our Tennis Match thread logged it in real time. Fans cheering Parks' double faults, cheers erupting between first and second serves, the chair repeatedly calling for silence. Yes, some of that crossed the line. That nuance matters, but strip the etiquette debate away. And one fact remains. A WTA 1000 stadium built for Sabalenka's number one ranking was at night audibly and physically owned by someone else. While that happened, look at where the number one actually was. Sabalenka had beaten Uchima 63-63 in a workman-like day session the previous afternoon. Clean win, empty seats scattered through the upper deck. No relocation memo, no headline, no hashtag. The contrast is not editorial. It is architectural. The tournament reshaped its physical infrastructure for one player this week, and it was not the world number one. And the numbers extend beyond the turnstiles, according to fan trackers circulating across Filipino tennis communities. The YouTube view count on Eala's Toronto press conference sits near 100,000. Sabalenka's from the same tournament sits closer to 4,000. Fan-generated data. Yes, treat the exact figure as illustrative rather than definitive. But the ratio is not a rounding error. It is a message. The number one's official media is being scrolled past. The number 20s is being studied. Everyone who told their co-workers a year ago that this Filipino was going to change the economics of women's tennis in Asia. Gotchas. You were reading the room before the room admitted it existed. Pattern recognition matters here. Miami earlier in 2026, Washington last week, Toronto this week. 3 tournaments, 3 arenas rearranged one way or another by the same 21-year-old. That is not a hot streak in ticket sales. That is a business. Which brings the microphone back to Carl Hale. 2 decades as tournament director of the National Bank Open, a senior figure in Tennis Canada, a man who has personally welcomed every reigning world number 1 into Toronto since the Aryna era. Hanan, Wozniacki, Halep, Barty, Swiatek, Sabalenka herself. He has seen fan waves. He has seen home crowd hijacks. He watched Bianca Andreescu's coronation on this same soil in 2019. And when TSN's cameras found him on August 4th, this is the exact language he chose. She's such an unheard of fan favorite. She sold out Wednesday in 30 minutes. Unheard of, not impressive, not surprising. Unheard of, a phrase he has not applied publicly to any WTA 1000 debutant in recent memory. That word is now on the tournament's institutional record. The establishment has already crowned her. Sabalenka can hold the ranking. Eala holds the room. And the room is only the beginning. The WTA has spent 5 years hunting the next commercial anchor in Asia, watching demographic charts and streaming numbers, waiting for a signal. Toronto delivered the signal on a Wednesday night in August. 5,000 tickets in 30 minutes is not a fan reaction. It is a market reading itself out loud. And the market covers the world's 3rd largest English-speaking nation. And its enormous diaspora across North America. Cincinnati is next on the calendar. Then the U.S. Open in Flushing Meadows, where the draw has already placed Eala in Sabalenka's quarter. Every match Eala plays between now and late August is a stress test on whether the world number 1 can still command the room she used to own by default. The prediction is defensible and it is not modest. By the time the New York night sessions open, IA will not be a wild-card curiosity in someone else's quarter. She will be the reason that quarter is being previewed. None of it means Wednesday night was smooth. IA took the first set from Park 6-1, and then lost the second 4-6. Park serve finally landing. The crowd briefly quiet, the wobble visible. 45 minutes of doubt inside the same match. She closed the third set 6-2. Afterward on Sportsnet, she did not talk about her ranking or her sellout or her record. She used 2 words, eternally grateful. Grateful to the crowd that had just tested her nerves as much as it had lifted her. That is a human being underneath the phenomenon. The one who still has to hold a serve at 4-all when the arena expects a coronation. 30 minutes. A grandstand that could not hold her. A center court reassigned midweek. An umpire begging 10,000 voices for quiet on a floor built for the world number 1. A tournament director calling her on the record unheard of, and a number 1 whose silence as of this week is doing more talking than any press conference could. Aryna Sabalenka is still the world number 1. But for 1 week in Toronto, Alexandra Eala became something Sabalenka has never been at this tournament. The reason the tickets moved. So here's the question that will define the rest of the summer. When Eala and Sabalenka finally meet in that US Open quarter, is a number 1 walking into her house or a loss? Stake your claim in the comments. Name the score. Name the sets. Put your prediction on the record before Flushing Meadows makes it obvious. And if you want to be in the room the night that answer arrives, subscribe now. Toronto was a trigger, Cincinnati is a test, and New York is where this collision course finally lands. Every twist between now and the Escher Stadium coin toss is going to be broken down here first. Do not read about it after. Watch it unfold with the people who called it.